These two are no strangers. They're pretty good friends. And here we do see Azul, the Galaisapod Garbodor deck. And you see that regional champion, regional champion, regional champion, regional champion. That is not an error. He has won 4 of them.
Yeah, and he's looking to get his 5th one here now. A lot of these coming in the most recent years now with all these travels coming up. He's been coming to a lot of events and having a lot of success. And now we can look over at Michael Pramawat. He has so many accomplishments. We ran out of room. We only listed 1 of the 6 regional championships that he has.
Yep, he is an international champion, the first ever finalist at the U.S. National Championships, finalist at the 2010 World Championships, probably one of the most memorable World's Finals in the history of the
picture.
game.
The picture is legendary.
Suffering a heartbreaking defeat to Yuta Komatsuda, and yeah, that will go down in history, the UXI Level X. But he has rebounded nicely in another finals of a regional championships. Prize cards for Azul, 2 of his Galaisapod GX and the Mewtwo.
Yeah, normally that Mewtwo's pretty good, pretty big in a matchup like this, but Pramawat does not play the Buzzwole, so not going to see that being too impactful. Over on Pramawat's side, 2 choice bands could mess up a little bit of math for him, but overall, it's not too terrible.
All right, so here we go. Players shaking hands. They are familiar opponents, and we are started here in the finals of the Memphis Regional Championships. Get on social media, use the hashtag #PlayPokemon. Tell us who you think is going to win this epic showdown between some of the biggest regional champions in the history of the game. Will it be Azul with his Galaisapod deck, or will it be Pramawat with that Zoroark and Lycanroc?
Yeah, very excited to see how this one comes out. Michael starting off the game with Tapu Lele. It's not going to be his, obviously, it's one of his worst starters that he could have. But he's able to use an Ultra Ball here, get Tapu Lele. This is going to get him Bridget, and he can start to work on his bench. Would love to find himself some Zoruas and Rockruffs here. Interesting to see if he chooses to go with 2 Zoroarks to 1 Rockruff. That's what I was thinking at first, and that's what he's going to go with here.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. We got to see it a little bit in the top 8. We didn't see a whole lot of it because Ahmed didn't draw very well in either of the games. But it is certainly very back and forth, can be very close. Azul's main attacker is that Galaisapod GX, which matches up very well against Lycanroc, which is weak to grass. So it's a lot of Galaisapod versus Zoroark, and a lot of it comes down to that Garbotoxin on Azul's side. And it looks like he's going to begin the same way Pramawat did. Wonder Tag, probably going to find that Bridget, grabbing 3 basic Pokemon.
Yeah, Azul here is going to try to find some Wimpods, and obviously wants that Trubbish as well. If he can lock in Garbotoxin before the trades start to come in and be too impactful, that would be fantastic for him. Looks like he's just going to go with 2 Wimpods here and just the 1 Trubbish. Would like to find another so that just in case Michael comes up with a very aggressive knockout on that Trubbish, he can get a Garbotoxin the following turn.
Yeah, and Azul does find double Wimpod and the Trubbish. This is a deck we saw at the World Championships taking 2nd place. And it is still a big part of the metagame today. Honestly, not a lot of players brought this deck this weekend, but Azul is one of the few who did, and he's having great success with it. A lot of it on the back of those enhanced hammers that he's playing 4 of. And you notice that Pramawat played down a basic fighting energy on his first turn. One of the few that cannot be targeted by that enhanced hammer.
Yeah, that's right. Michael only plays 2 of those energies. Every other energy in his deck is special, which means that Azul is going to be trying to target those down throughout the rest of the game.
So we see the N from Pramawat after attaching the double colorless energy to his Tapu Lele GX. So he will not be getting a knockout on this turn. No real target for an energy drive knockout. Tapu Koko on Azul's side is probably the best starting Pokemon you can ask for. It has no retreat cost. It could flying flip if you really wanted to, but really just there so you can switch in and out to keep getting the bonus from that first impression from Galaisapod.
Absolutely, and Azul has to feel great here. Not only does he get a new hand, but he knows that his Trubbish isn't going to get targeted down this turn, which means that he might be able to start locking out some abilities.
And now Promwat will evolve to Lycanroc GX and bring out that Wimpod. He's going after it right away. This is one of the weaknesses of Golisopod GX. The first impression attack only gets the bonus damage if it was on the bench and then becomes active. So sometimes if you play a card like Guzma or Lycanroc GX and bring it into the active spot before it wants to attack, you can force your opponent into an awkward spot where they're unable to get the bonus damage. We do see Enhanced Hammer and the Choice Band on that Garbodor. So Garbotoxin in effect, Float Stone on the Wimpod, Energy on the benched Wimpod, and an N. What an incredible start.
Yeah, that's exactly what Azul wanted. He was able to lock in that Garbotoxin ability before any Zoroarks were in play. And now he also has 6 cards to potentially find himself a Golisopod and really start putting on the heat here. He can put 120 damage onto that Tapu Lele. And Michael's left on the back foot. The only energy he has down is on a Pokemon that's weak to grass. So definitely not what Michael wants to see. He's definitely going to want to find a field blower here.
So both players shuffling in and drawing 6 cards. Azul looking for that Golisopod GX if he can find it. And looks like he will not. He just has to retreat into Tapu Koko and pass the turn. A big miss.
Yeah, he's got a few tools and another Enhanced Hammer in that hand, so very reactive. If Michael were to play this field blower here and play a special energy for the turn, it kind of just falls into exactly what Azul wants. Of course, he'd much rather get some damage on board, but this isn't too bad for him here, honestly.
A huge field blower discarding the Pokemon tool from Garbodor, so Garbotoxin no longer in effect, allowing Promwat to use that trade ability and draw some cards. I think he would want to find a Guzma here, but does not look like he has access to one.
Yeah, we see Professor Kukui is possibly the supporter. No, he's got the N there, so he's going to be able to get rid of that hand from Azul, and Azul's going to try to find another tool off of this.
Yeah, so once again, both players shuffling in and drawing 6 fresh cards. It's interesting to me that Promwat continues to attach energy to that Tapu Lele GX and attack with Energy Drive. Seems like an unusual strategy.
Yeah, he kind of got stuck doing that when his Tapu Lele was his starting Pokemon. He hasn't really found a way out of the active spot just yet. And it seems a little odd to just keep playing straight into that Enhanced Hammer.
But hey, he's going to use Bloodthirsty Eyes once again and actually knock out one of these Wimpod. So he will take the first knockout and put some pressure on Azul.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about your Lycanroc being knocked out if there's no Wimpods in play.
So now Azul sending out that Tapu Koko, and we see the heavy ball for Golisopod GX. Now the Lycanroc GX on Promwat's bench is a little threatening. You know, that dangerous rogue GX attack can always be looming if you bench too many Pokemon.
Yeah.
We'll see if Azul can find Guzma on this turn to target down the Lycanroc that has the energy on it.
Absolutely, and it'd be great for him to get those 2 prize cards. He's desperately in need of getting something going soon. Hasn't really accomplished much, doesn't have Garbotoxin locked in yet, and it looks like everything's been going Michael's way so far.
So heavy ball searching for that heavy Golisopod GX with the 3 retreat cost. And Float Stone on that Garbodor. It is no longer heavy, now has no retreat cost. And we do see double colorless energy going on to the Golisopod GX. I think Azul is digging for a Choice Band.
Yeah, he'd be able to use his Crossing Cut GX attack there and really put himself in a pretty great spot. Was unable to find it though, but hit a Wimpod. So you win some, lose some there. It's going to help him continue this Acerola play that he loves to do so much.
Looks like he is going to retreat into Golisopod GX and use the Armor Press attack for 100 damage, which will reduce damage done to Golisopod GX by 20, potentially avoiding the dangerous Rogue GX now. But oh, Professor Kukui could change all of that.
Yeah, now we're just 1 strong energy away from being able to knock out this Golisopod here, potentially a Choice Band. The Kukui effect and the Golisopod effect basically counter each other, so we get to look at that straight math, just trying to get 10 more damage now.
We see Energy Lotto, a strong energy, would get a knockout with this Lycanroc GX. Does he find it in the top 7 cards? No, he misses.
Yeah, it should have been a multi-switch. What are you doing?
Sad.
So from here, you got to think Pramawat wants to take this opportunity to knock out this Golisopod GX while he can. It has 210 HP. Nothing in his deck can really get a one-hit knockout on it besides Lycanroc GX, and you could only do it once.
Right. Well, Michael doesn't seem to have the answer in his hand just yet, and he doesn't have access to trade here, so curious to see if he just goes with this 130 damage with the Tapu Lele. And yeah, it looks like he wants to just do that and set up some Lycanrocs to go in the future turns.
Yeah, both players so far missing big opportunities. Zool missing the Choice Band on his turn. Pramawat missing the Strong Energy or Choice Band on his turn. So we could have seen huge knockouts on either side, but so far, just a little chip damage here and there. Nobody able to get in a big hit.
On over to Azul's side, he would love to get more Pokemon down here. Another Golisopod would be great for him. He just wants to continue to have more answers so that he can compete with what Michael's got going on. This Zoroark is ready to attack as soon as he has a double colorless, and we already see the Lycanrocs are ready to go as well.
Acerola picking up that Golisopod GX and all the damage with it. And now Azul's just going to use his Tapu Lele GX and Energy Drive for the knockout, but still 2 Golisopod GX in the prize cards.
Yeah, you might have to just keep picking the same Golisopod up over and over again. That just might be his way of attacking throughout this game.
And now it'll be up to Pramawat to respond. It looks like his choice here is going to be Zoroark GX, and you can see the full effects of Garbotoxin here. He just cannot use trade, and you know these Zoroark decks are built all around that trade ability that allows the deck to draw tons of cards. And when you take that away, you know they have less supporter cards than most other decks do. They don't run a full count of Professor Sycamore, and it makes it difficult to string together big attacks.
Yeah, and unlike the Tords list with 4 Field Blower, this deck doesn't run as many Field Blowers, so it's pretty difficult to find that Field Blower at the exact time that you need it. We know we already played one, but it might take a double puzzle to find that again.
Yeah, he does have the cards to do it, just whether or not he can draw them. Now we see another N here from Pramawat. Going to force Azul to shuffle in and draw 4 cards, and he'll shuffle in and draw 5. He will throw that Golisopod GX back into the deck. Could be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, finding it again is going to be pretty difficult. Not only are Michael's abilities locked, but so are his. So he's not going to be able to go searching for a supporter anytime soon.
So no Field Blower on Pramawat's side. Looks like he may just have to settle for a Riotous Beating for 100 damage, which is plenty of damage, but probably not where he wants to be at this point. Probably wants to be, you know, getting like Choice Band, Kukui, knocking out a Tapu Lele, not just doing 100 damage.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing that out of Michael, but that's when he's not playing against Garbotoxin. We see Azul on the other side. He has that Enhanced Hammer, and he's going to play an N here. He did have Ultra Ball as a top deck, but it looks like he wouldn't have been able to play out his cards very efficiently if that were the case. So gonna just try to draw the Golisopod one more time.
Yeah, Enhanced Hammer is kind of funny here. It does discard the energy off of Zoroark GX, but makes his Energy Drive weaker. Potentially no longer even setting up for a 2-hit knockout. But another N being played. That is the supporter of choice so far for both players. Azul getting 4 cards, his opponent getting 5. And does he find that one Golisopod GX that's left in his deck?
Yeah, this seems to be just how Azul's been drawing for a while now. Just a lot of awkward cards. He's got some energy and another Enhanced Hammer. It's just so reactive. He's not putting on too much pressure here.
He does have double colorless energy in hand. He could go for a Flying Flip if he wanted to. And it looks like he is considering it, or even just passing with the Tapu Koko active.
Draw.
Yeah,
Looks like that's what he's going to do.
I mean, I don't know if the 20 would be too impactful there, and he wants to hold on to those energies. And look at that. Michael just
Wow.
has to pass right back.
And like we said, Azul wants this game to get ugly, and it has, all thanks to Garbodor and the Garbotoxin ability. Nobody's drawing extra cards here, Kyle.
Maybe he should have played that double colorless. 10 of these, and he's in good shape.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get 10 turns to use this.
Well, we are going to see that damage start to pile up here, and Michael does find the Enhance Hammer, and he's got at least one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, he opts not to play it to look at his top 3 cards. It's something you could do. Oh, here's the heavy ball, though. Searching for that Golisopod GX. So Azul can start to attack once again with first impression.
Yeah, this is going to be a real nice 120 damage, but afterwards, well, actually, he's got, no, I don't think he has that double colors anymore. He used it on the Coco.
Yeah.
So after this first impression, he might have a hard time swapping this Golisopod out of the active spot. So we might see some 30s coming up soon, too.
Yeah, if he had a choice band, it would be different, but...
Yeah.
Oh, Guzma, that is much different, though.
Yeah.
Bringing out the Lycanroc GX on the bench, and 120 damage times 2 is a little different, and that will be a knockout. Your boy Guzma working in perfect harmony with Golisopod GX to take a knockout.
Yeah, and he also finds 2 Golisopod in his prizes, so he's going to get another Golisopod into play in the following turn.
So now Pramawat definitely on the back foot. He has hit a rough patch in the middle of this game without access to his trade ability. And you have to imagine this is exactly how Azul got to where he is. A lot of players coming into this tournament thought, Garbotoxin, nobody's playing that anymore. I saw people taking Field Blower out of their deck almost completely. Lowest counts I've ever seen since the card has come out. You know, some people playing 1 or 2 copies where even at the international championships, we saw Tord Reklev playing 4 Field Blower just so he wouldn't lose to Garbotoxin.
Yep.
But here, Pramawat only playing 2 Field Blowers because, people are going to stop playing it now that, you know, Tord played that deck with 4 Field Blowers, right?
Yeah.
Azul staying pat, saying, no, I'm just going to keep using this.
Well, Michael was able to find that second puzzle piece, which means he will find that Field Blower and get to replay it. A big draw for him. He's now going to have trade available to him.
That is a huge turn of events. Now with the second Zoroark GX on the board as well, he'll be able to trade twice and really start to draw some cards and get his deck moving.
Yeah, found himself a Guzma. He's got some energies to play here as well, and this is looking a whole lot different now. He can even use this Tapu Lele while his abilities are in effect if he wants to grab another supporter that he wants.
Wonder tag.
So we see Wonder Tag from Tapu Lele GX. He might be searching for an N. That might be his last one. I think he's played a lot this game.
Yeah, and as Azul only has 2 prizes left, it's a pretty great card to have available to yourself. You can, if Azul is able to draw out of this poor hand that he has now, you might be able to just get him right back into that same spot.
It's so far.
So we do see yet another N from Pramawat. He hasn't played it quite yet, but searching for it with the Wonder Tag. And this is where the Golisopod decks can be vulnerable. After you've used First Impression, you can be stuck out there. You can't move it.
Yes.
Can't use any of your attacks. You don't have enough energy. Big N to 2 cards. What Azul draws off of these 2 could determine the outcome of this game.
Yeah, if he were able to find a Guzma, he'd have the win. He'd be able to switch to his Coco and then just retreat right back into his Golisopod. So big draws coming up. Also, the fact that his Garbotoxin is not in play means that an Ultra Ball for Tapu Lele could find that Guzma. So a few live draws here in Azul's deck.
Yeah, excellent point. Without Garbotoxin, he's got way more chances to draw that game-winning Guzma, and that'll be the first thing he's looking for. You can also just draw like Professor Sycamore and, you know, draw some more cards.
Yeah, lock in that Garbotoxin one more time, and we've seen how effective it's been against Michael already.
But at the same time, look at how many cards he has left in his deck. There are any number of horrible things he could draw, like another Trubbish or Garbodor, or pretty much any Pokemon that's not named Tapu Lele GX.
Right. Well, Michael was able to find a pretty good hand for himself. If this game continues on for a few more turns, he's got Guzma available, and he can continue to trade and get even more options here.
And something kind of funny, thanks to that flying flip, at some point Pramawat could play Acerola and pick up his damaged Lycanroc GX, since now it does have damage on it thanks to Azul, and could take that 2-prize liability off the board. Yeah,
that would mean that Azul would have to find a choice band along with that Guzma to knock out the damaged Tapu Lele.
So we do see double colorless energy going on to the Galisipod and the Float Stone. He's going to go for the Crossing Cut GX for 150 damage and say, you know what, let's see if you got it. Because I've played all my cards.
I'm done. Your turn. Well, Michael does have a Guzma in his hand, so if he wants to target down a Galisipod, he can, but he would want to do this with another double colorless, and wow.
He draws a Field Blower for the turn, gets rid of the Float Stone, and his abilities are back. What's it like to be Michael Premont? I want to know someday.
I would assume pretty. Is that double puzzle?
Probably.
I mean, it's Michael. I think he just hit the puzzles there, which means that he's got access to so many great cards now.
Although he's not out of the woods yet. I mean, even if he knocks out that Galisipod GX on the bench, Azul still has another one. If he plays a Guzma, he can win the game.
Yeah.
Pramawat cannot attack with this active Zoroark GX. He'll simply be knocked out by first impression. And so he'll have to find some other options here.
Yep, so he's, of course, got the double puzzle there to go along with this. Can grab a Field Blower just in case these abilities get locked in, and wants to find that double colorless energy to attack with either the Zoroark or the undamaged Tapu Lele into this Galisipod here.
So here we do see Guzma using it against Galisipod GX. He's going to be able to target that down and use Riotous Beating for the knockout. Azul has no cards in hand, but many of them could win him the game on the spot. What does he draw?
Well, Guzma would be pretty good. Oh, Enhanced Hammer.
No, that's not bad either.
He gets to slow Michael down a little bit, but doesn't have that tool, so this means that Michael's going to get to look at a lot of cards in this following turn if he wants to.
Does your discard?
Yeah, and you have to wonder, should you use first impression here? If you do 120 damage, it does set you up for drawing a double colorless energy, and using Armor Press for the game makes it so you still win if you draw Guzma. Let's see, it potentially puts you in danger of Dangerous Rogue GX if there's a strong energy, Choice Band, and Professor Kukui. So there is that to worry about. And you are facing Michael Premont. So
if anyone can do it.
That also factors into the equation.
Well,
it looks like he really doesn't know what the right decision is. He's going to pass the turn.
Yep, it's going to leave just a 1-prize Pokemon in the active spot, which I can see the benefit in doing so, but he's also going to lose his free retreater in the process if Michael doesn't use a Guzma on this turn.
Yeah, and if he just draws double colorless energy, Azul can't really first impression. He would probably have to promote his Garbodor and cross his fingers. So we see Ultra Ball for that Zorua, taking a card out of his deck so he can trade it away. Just eliminating a potential card he could draw. And that looks like a Professor Kukui to me.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage if
oh my goodness,
that Galisipod was promoted.
I think he's assembled the 5-card combo here. Float Stone, Lycanroc GX, Strong Energy, Choice Band. Maybe just 4 cards, but it's still a lot, all right?
Yep, and an opponent having a Galisipod.
Yeah.
That's the 5th.
So there is the first piece, the Float Stone, the Lycanroc GX. There's 2 cards, 3, 4. It is 5 cards necessary to take this knockout, and he is going to do it. Dangerous Rogue GX starts off doing 150, plus 20 for the Strong Energy, plus 20 for the Professor Kukui, plus 30 for the Choice Band, and that all adds up to a knockout. and Michael Pramawat taking control of this game, but Azul top decks a Sycamore.
Yeah, that's a big draw for Azul here. We're going to see if he has anything left to combat what Michael has. Michael's in a really fantastic spot here and already has the Guzma in hand. If Azul were to hide behind a Pokemon, that could survive one of these big hits from Michael's Pokemon.
He's going to need a bunch of enhanced hammers to get out of this spot. And I don't know if he has access to any of them. He also just doesn't have many Pokemon that can withstand an attack at this point.
Yeah, I think this Tapu Lele might be one of the few, but even the Claw Slash is getting to 160. It's almost ready to knock him out.
Okay, and Azul will take Guzma with that Wonder Tag ability, the card he was looking for multiple turns, and now finds it perhaps a turn too late. Already played his supporter card for the turn, so he can't play it here.
Yeah, but now all that's left for Azul is to hide behind this Tapu Lele and just hope that Michael doesn't have the resources available. If he has a tool, it'd be a great draw to go ahead and put that on his Garbodor, but I don't know if he's got that either.
Just going to take a look through his opponent's discard pile, see what resources are remaining. Is there any chance for him to win? I think the first step is, does Azul have an enhanced hammer? If he has one, I guess you would remove the energy from Zoroark GX. That way your opponent doesn't have any easy attack on board. They would need to have an energy.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Azul's just going to continue to thin out a little bit. Already has a Guzma in his hand now, also adding the Sycamore.
Just doing as much as he can. And let's see, he's got the double colorless energy in hand and a choice band and a float stone. So he can float stone to reactivate Carbotoxin. And once again, gonna look at his opponent's discard pile, make 100% sure he knows exactly what he's working with.
Yeah.
All of this is moot if his opponent has Guzma.
Yeah, no, we've seen it over in Michael's hand. I don't see the enhanced hammer for Azul, so it's a valiant effort, but I don't think it's going to pay off here.
Yep, float stone going on to that Garbodor and a choice band on Tapu Lele GX. We're going to see an energy drive for 110, but that will not be enough. Looks like Michael Pramawat, against all odds, has made another comeback, and he's doing the math here. Another strong energy will do it.
Yep.
Claw Slash knocks out this Tapu Lele GX, and Michael Pramawat takes game number 1.
That was phenomenal by Michael. I mean, the draws that he was able to put together, holding on to that one puzzle piece, was able to draw into the second, which led to the field blower, which let him draw some more, and then he got more puzzles and more field blowers, top decked another field blower. So everything went Michael's way after a few turns in the middle that kind of looked iffy, and he's one game up in the finals now.
It's not fair, Kyle. You know, he's too good. I mean, he can't be that lucky and that good.
I don't know how he does it, man.
Azul is probably wondering the same thing, but this is only one game, and you know, Azul looked to be in full control of that first game until a few missteps at the end, and that game did get ugly, and one top deck either way could have swung that game. So hopefully we're in for 2 more close games like that one, and we'll have an exciting finals.
Yeah, I know Azul is used to a lot of games like this, and really he's just one supporter away from continuing to go through his deck and really just dominate, but sometimes his hands just end up looking as bad as his opponent's hand does.
Yeah, the downside of Garbotoxin is you don't get to trade either. All right, so both players setting up for game number 2 and the finals here at the largest regional championship in Pokemon TCG history. Azul will be able to go first in the second game. The loser in a best of 3 gets to select who goes first in the following game. We see prize cards for both players, nothing too relevant.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Both players are going to be able to do everything that their strategies entail. And Azul starting off very strong with that Wimpod, and Tapu Lele searching out that Bridget.
Yeah, part of the great synergy of the Glycopod deck is Wimpod's Wimp Out ability. During your first turn, it has no retreat cost. So normally it has a 3 retreat cost and it would be stuck in the active spot, but it's kind of neat that on your first turn, if you start with it, you can put it on the bench so that when you evolve it into Glycopod GX, you can then retreat to it again and get the first impression bonus damage.
Yeah, and right now that means that Azul would be able to go ahead and Wimp out to his Tapu Koko, which is his preferred starter along with Wimpod there. He can just hide with that free retreat on the Koko. Next turn would mean that he probably has a Glycopod ready to go for 120 damage, if not more, being that he already has an energy attachment this turn too.
Yeah, just a picture-perfect start for Azul. 3 Wimpod down, Trubbish with a Float Stone, a Grass Energy, Tapu Koko as his active Pokemon. What more could you ask for?
6 fresh cards.
That'll help too. His opponent plays the N after playing Double Colorless Energy and a Choice Band, so not such a great start on the other side. We'll see if Michael can draw some other basic Pokemon.
Yeah, would definitely like to see some Zoruas here, and I don't know if one would be enough. He's probably going to have to see multiple, or else Azul can continue, maybe get some Guzmas and really put some pressure on Michael. If no Zoroarks come into play, you don't even need Garbotoxin. He's not going to be drawing cards anyways.
So let's see what Promowat draws off of these 6 cards. You know, if he doesn't get a bench Pokemon, he can even lose to Crossing Cut GX plus a Choice Band on the next turn. So getting a basic Pokemon down, obviously very important.
Yeah, and this is very painful for Michael. He finds the Ultra Ball, and yeah, he's just going to take that risk here.
All right, we see the Heavy Ball. Glycopod GX is on the way. If we see Double Colorless Energy and a Choice Band, this game will be over.
Yeah, Zul quickly goes and gets that Glycopod, knows that he can get a lot of damage down. If he doesn't already have all the pieces, he still has his supporter for the turn. He could draw into it.
Why do you think Pram didn't play the Ultra Ball there?
I'm trying to figure it out. I know that he doesn't want to lose a Zorua on this opening turn, and he thinks that maybe his Tapu Lele could take a hit, maybe the 120 from a first impression, but he also has a lot of cards he just doesn't want to throw away with Ultra Ball. It gets really awkward for him there.
And it looks like this will pay off as Azul already attached Grass Energy for the turn, decided not to get greedy. I don't know if I could have been as disciplined as he was right there.
That's right. Blood in the water.
I would have been going for that one.
Also, holding the Ultra Ball means that he could potentially search out the Bridget with a Tapu Lele if Garbotoxin wasn't in play, but of course it is.
Yeah. So first impression from that Glycopod GX, gonna hit for 120 damage. And now the Ultra Ball probably searching for Zorua here. Now that Wonder Tag is not an option, but he does have Professor Sycamore in hand. Can draw a fresh hand of 7. But right now, looks like Azul's in firm control. Has the Glycopod GX attacking, has Garbotoxin in full effect, and Promowat just finally getting down his first Zorua.
Yeah, even if Azul doesn't have a way to get out of the active spot, just a Choice Band or a Double Colorless Energy, he can continue to attack and really keep this pressure on. And wow, he found no more Pokemon. He has an Ultra Ball if he wants to get one more basic down, but at what cost?
Yeah, if he plays it, then he won't have an Ultra Ball to grab Zoroark GX. So just gonna Energy Drive here for 90. And we'll see, can Azul find the Guzma here to knock out that Zorua on the bench, or at the very least, you know, knock out this active Tapu Lele GX.
Yep, starting off very strong there. Already has Garbotoxin lined up, 2 Glycopods ready to go. Hasn't done anything else for his turn, really, so we'll see what else he has. Floatstone's going to be able to give him that free retreat.
Well, lets you switch between your 2 Glycopod GX and give you that bonus damage from first impression. Tapu Lele GX goes down, and Promowat's going to need to respond with something big. And he starts off by drawing Zoroark GX.
Yeah. Well, that means he gets to save that Ultra Ball, but he's got the Bridget now. He can get a few more basics into play, but I don't think he has an energy to go along with this. I believe we did see the Energy Lotto, though, so maybe could pick up some good damage here.
Yep, he's playing Bridget here for 2 Zorua and a Rockruff. Typically, you want that Bridget on the first turn of the game, not the third, but he'll take it either way.
Yeah, down a few prizes, and your opponent's got Garbotoxin, but you got some basics finally. Win
Better
some,
than
lose some.
not drawing Bridget.
That's right.
So Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards, probably searching for another basic Pokemon here. What do you think Pram has to do to get back in this game? Seems like he's pretty far behind.
Yeah, I think the first start will be the Field Blower. If he has access to 1 trade, that means he's got access to probably 3 trades, because Zoroarks find each other, and he just starts drawing all of his deck at one time.
So we'll see if he can pull it off here. As he will, let's see, Energy Lotto. All right, is he going to hit the jackpot here on the top 7 cards?
Yeah, he missed it the first time around, but would love to see a double colorless energy here.
Ooh, strong energy, not what he was looking for.
Yeah, snake eyes.
Right now, yeah.
All right, so no double colorless energy means no riotous beating on this turn, which means that Golisopod GX is at full HP. Strong energy going on to the Rockruff, and he has to pass the turn. Now it's on Azul to counter back and keep up the pressure, and he does immediately with an Enhanced Hammer and another Floatstone.
Wow, in his hand he has an energy attachment along with a Sycamore, so 7 fresh cards along with it. Big swings.
7 fresh cards after he played every one in his hand. There's no better feeling than that.
Yep, no high fives though.
So he will retreat to the Golisopod GX that has no damage on it. Doesn't want to put the other one in danger, even though it does have a Floatstone. And oh, Acerola, big card from Premawat, picking up that Zoroark GX and essentially healing it completely.
Yep, and Azul does not have a way to retreat on board, but he does have Guzmas in his hand, so we'll see Azul probably start to use those. Interesting to see if he starts to target down more Zoruas or if he wants to handle these Rockruffs.
He also drew double colorless energy for the turn, so he could just attach and use Armor Press. It looks like he will go for the Guzma. This is nice because he can switch into that Floatstone Golisopod, attack this turn, next turn retreat, and get another big first impression.
Yep.
So perhaps thinking ahead here rather than attaching the double colorless, especially knowing that his opponent plays Enhanced Hammer.
Absolutely.
See another Ultra Ball, getting rid of some cards he might not want to draw later, although I usually like drawing Professor Sycamore. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Well, 1 less card in his deck at least. The Mewtwo he's going to hold on to. Won't be too relevant here, though.
So got that Mewtwo from the XY Evolutions expansion. Probably not going to do much in this matchup, but always fun to see that card. Another first impression will take a prize card for Azul, and he's down to 3. That's 3 prizes away from tying up this series. And strong energy on that Rockruff is not good news for Premawat.
Yeah, Azul with 4 grass energy down, and Michael, all he has is his Enhanced Hammer in his hand. And Azul's going to continue the pressure here, knocking out another Rockruff now.
And what does Premawat draw here? Well, probably the best card he could have drawn. He draws an N.
Yeah, it's going to get him 6 cards now. If he was able to find perhaps a Field Blower off this end now, he'll be able to start using trade, and he might be able to get it going. Don't know if it's too late now, but you got to try.
Yeah, of course, you never know what can happen. Yeah, Field Blower would be great, not only to get back his abilities, but to remove the Floatstone from the active Golisopod to prevent retreating.
Yeah, that makes Azul very dependent on a Guzma here, or perhaps an Acerola if he gets some damage on his active.
So these are 6 very important cards for Premawat, and he does find the Field Blower. Getting rid of those 2 Floatstones, now he can trade and draw more cards. See if he can find double colorless energy and start to fight back.
Yeah, not to be greedy, but he needs to find a lot of cards here now. He'd love to find more puzzle pieces or another field blower just to make sure that he can get multiple turns of this trade. But the first piece is getting an attack off on this turn. You'd love to see that double colorless.
Well, he did draw a field blower, but no double colorless energy. Looks like he's going to Ultra Ball and dig even deeper. He's going to find another Zoroark GX here and trade for perhaps 2 more cards, knowing that it's time to put up a fight. You know, you can't let another turn go by without doing damage. You're so far behind. It's time to find double colorless energy at all costs.
Yep. Well, he's got 2 cards to do it now. This will be the last trade he has this turn.
He's going to trade away Guzma. Does he find the energy? No.
Yeah, found a puzzle piece and an enhance hammer. Some pretty useless cards right now.
Indeed, and he's just going to pass the turn, and Azul immediately plays a tool onto
man.
his Garbodor and a Professor Sycamore. Those are 2 pretty good cards off of N.
Yeah, this is the way that Azul needs to be drawing if he wants to be the champion here. And he's doing it. He's able to even use his Crossing Cut GX here, move his Golisopod to the bench and keep it protected. And he's got everything going his way right now.
We see another field blower from Pramawat, though. That is going to put even more tools in the discard pile. And he might start looking at, how many float stones you got in there?
Yeah.
How many Guzmas have you played?
Can I lock up this Garbodor?
Yeah. There's an enhanced hammer, discarding the double colorless energy. You know, I've seen plenty of games that were won by essentially doing nothing and trapping up that Garbodor with the 3 retreat cost. I mean, we saw the same thing at the World Championships in the finals. That's how Diego was able to defeat that Garbodor deck in the first game.
Yeah.
Wonder tag?
Well, Michael here has the Rescue Stretcher, which gives him access to any supporter in his deck now through Tapu Lele. But what does he have left? He's
probably not much. Gonna say we'll see if he can find Acerola, but no, that is the card he thought. Yeah, he grabs a Mallow. I had a funny interaction with that in the top 8, but that is not Acerola.
Nope. No, I'm sure he's learned that now.
See if he just trades it away, hoping to find some puzzle of time. Second trade. Does he find it? Yes.
Yeah.
Second puzzle of time is found. He's going to unlock 2 cards from his discard pile, perhaps finding Acerola.
Yeah, he definitely would love to take off all this damage here, and interested to see if the second card he goes for is the double colorless energy and tries to take the knockout here on the Tapu Koko. It's not very threatening, but maybe if you remove some of the retreating abilities that Azul has, you can just leave him doing 30 damage over and over again with these grass energies.
So Acerola is the first choice, N is the second. And he's certainly going to pick up this Zoroark GX, but which Pokemon would he send out? Looks like Rockruff is going to be the choice.
Yeah, he's going to try to play a 7-prize game here. He knows that he'll be able to evolve his own Zorua, and hopefully we'll be able to evolve that back Rockruff. And a big N would be really nice for Azul, for Michael here, if Azul takes 1 more prize.
Now, this is a smart play from Pramawat. I mean, 2 things can happen here. The first is Azul takes a knockout on your Rockruff, and then you end him to 1. I think that's your best situation.
Yeah.
And Azul's going to have to make a choice. Like, is it worth taking this knockout here and putting the pressure on? You know you're going to get N down to 1 card, and then your Golisopod could just get stuck there doing 30 damage. You could just kind of sit back and force Pramawat to make the first move. Or if you had a double colorless energy, just go for Flying Flip and say, hey, deal with this.
Yeah, you need to attack this. Well, Azul is going to check what Michael has in the discard pile. He's got another Choice Band in his hand, but wants to know if he should play this down or if he's going to have to dodge 1 more Field Blower.
5.
Yeah, Garbotoxin back in effect. But the tool he put on there was a choice band. It was not a float stone. And, you know, he doesn't have a lot of cards left. This is one potential way Michael Premawat could take this game in the finals and win the championship. But it looks like Azul is tired of waiting. He's going to put the pressure on now. Just knock out this Rockruff. And Michael Premawat finds himself down 6 prizes to 1. Can he make the big comeback?
Well, he's got some of the pieces to do it, and a lot has to go right here, but definitely a possibility. Azul did lock in Garbotoxin, so Azul won't have any access to abilities here. So this one card, if it doesn't work out for him, he might just be stuck doing 30 damage for a few turns.
This is how comebacks begin. N has been swinging games for the last 5 years or so, and we could see it once again. Michael will draw 6, Azul only drawing 1, and he is stuck with that Glycopod in the active spot. Does Premawat find the double colorless energy? Yes. So he can at least start attacking. Yeah. He has not done much damage this game, but this is the beginning of a comeback. Oh, but right away halted by the Enhanced Hammer and a Float Stone. He's able to retreat and just first impression for 120 damage. Wow. Not bad off of an end to 1.
Yeah, that worked out very well for him. And we see now that Michael's going to try to come back, but all he's got right now is the Kukui. This damage is going to stick on this Zoroark here, and I don't see a way for him to get out of the active just yet.
He drew 1 puzzle of time, but not the other. All he has is basic fighting energy in his hand. He's going to attach to the bench Zoroark GX and hope he makes it through the turn. And probably hopes he can top deck his other puzzle of time, get back Acerola, and go from there. But Azul top decks the game-winning Guzma. Your boy comes in the clutch and cleans up game number 2. Wow. What else can you say? End to 1, doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's going to find it no matter what. He was able to find it in top 4, game 3, finds it in the finals in game 2, and now we're tied up. Both these players have plenty of time to go into game 3 now, and 2 very interesting games. They didn't look very similar at all, honestly.
Not at all. You saw Pram smiling there at the end. I'm sure he's done that to plenty of people this weekend.
Yep.
It's like, that's how that feels. Okay.
That's not too good.
So here we go, folks. This is as close as we can get it. You can't even write this stuff. Game 3 here in the finals of the largest regional championships ever. It will be won by either Azul Garcia Griego, seeking his 5th regional championship victory, or Michael Premawat seeking his 7th regional championship victory. They are on a short list of players who have won, more than 3 regionals, and they are looking to make history once again.
Yeah, and I mean, just props to both players for getting to this stage again in a 1,000-player tournament. And they were able to get all the way here and meet each other in the finals.
So here we go, shuffling up for an intense game number 3. So much on the line here. Potential travel awards with championship points on the line for qualifying for international championship awards. There's prize money on the line. And of course, just the bragging rights of not only winning a regional championship, but winning it against one of your rivals.
That's right. Azul, we got to see his prize cards has 2 Trubbish and a Garbodor in the prize cards here. And
it's big.
A lot of supporters over on Michael's side, but nothing else too big.
Yeah, the big difference in this game is Premawat will be going first. Azul went first in the previous game. And, when you're playing these decks with evolutions, sometimes the big difference maker is being able to go first, being able to evolve your Pokemon first, and, getting the first attack and getting a knockout early.
Yep. Michael, 2 turns ahead of his normal clock, is able to use Bridget on the first turn now, and is going to find himself 2 Zorua and a Rockruff here. Great spot to be in, and I'm sure he's got a little more follow-up in his hand as well.
Indeed, the perfect turn 1. We'll see if he can follow it up with an energy attachment as well. All you need to do is get those basic Pokemon down, and turn 2, get that Zoroark GX, get that Riotous beating attack, Oh, Energy Lotto. He's going to go for broke again. Does he find a double colorless energy this time? Yes.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah, that works out pretty well for him. Don't know if you want to attach it just yet. You know your opponent plays 4 Enhanced Hammer, but it's a great card to have in your back pocket.
Indeed. So he's going to put that double colorless into his hand. And one thing he could do is attach and retreat. Oh, he's actually going to use 1 puzzle of time. Look at his top 3 cards and put them back in any order. This is usually a play you make in desperation.
Yeah, I saw a lot of, it looked like a lot of Zoroark. So he might be able to just trade into trade and really get a lot going on next turn.
Yeah, he might be trying to figure out if he should attach and retreat to Azora this turn to set up for a Riotous Beating on the following turn. You know, if you see a Float Stone in your top 3 cards, maybe you say, oh, I'll just hold it and then wait till I can retreat. But
right.
No, he is going to put it on his bench, Zorua, and hope that his opponent doesn't find one of his 4 Enhanced Hammers.
Yeah, well, if you're going to take the risk, first turn is a great time to do it because you know your opponent wants to play a Bridget for themselves, which means they're not using a draw supporter. But look at that, Azul's just going to go fishing now, and he does find that hammer.
He sure does. Enhanced Hammer, going to discard that double colorless energy, but this means he does not play the Bridget on his first turn. Doesn't look like he has any other basic Pokemon. He's forced to just retreat into this Wimpod and pass the turn.
Draw.
Yeah, and we already saw they had 2 Trubbish in his prize cards.
Goodness.
And, he might not have too many Pokemon available to him, and Michael getting off to that strong start. All these Zoroarks trading away.
Turn 2, double Zoroark GX, double trade, double the cards. And we'll see if he can find another double colorless energy this turn. Professor Kukui. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, wasn't able to find any energies, but he's holding some relatively strong cards if they do come up. And if not, he can just throw away the whole hand with Sycamore on the following turn. It's not too big a deal.
So Azul probably pretty happy with how that one turned out. Probably not happy to see 2 Zoroark GX, but glad to see his Wimpod were not knocked out.
That's right. Yeah, if he was down to just 1 Pokemon here, he'd be in a lot of trouble. But was able to find a Trubbish. I know it's going to be pretty difficult to keep that Garbotoxin in play if you only have 1 left in the deck now. But it's got it out here.
Oh, man. I thought Azul was about to signal that he was going to pass the turn. I was getting worried. Oh, he did.
Now we are worried.
Oh, boy. That is not a good turn, too. Playing down a Trubbish and passing.
Trade.
And this opens the floodgates for Promawat. He's going to trade twice, draw some more cards. Perhaps this turn he'll actually get to attack.
Yeah, he does find an energy. He's going to just play this on the Rockruff here. And he doesn't have much going on either. He can use Sycamore. He would lose another Puzzle of Time piece and a Field Blower.
And a Lycanroc.
Yeah, and you want to hold on to these resources, so might as well just keep trading. If Azul's doing nothing, you've got time.
So Rescue Stretcher from Azul. He finds the Golisopod GX and the Garbodor and a Floatstone. Wow, not a bad turn. Oh, he drove the Guzma for the turn. So now he's got Garbotoxin, first impression, knockout. Boy, that took a quick turn.
Yeah, that did not look like someone who just passed last turn. He had a lot of things available to him, but as soon as I'm done talking, Michael already played his Field Blower.
That's a great response. Getting his trade back. Can he finally find a double colorless energy? Still no. He has 1 more trade available. And he still can play a supporter for the turn. 2 more cards. Still no.
Wow, and he does have plays that he could do. He could use Lycanroc and bring up Garbodor and then use Sycamore and try to find a way to knock this out before it continues to lock out his abilities. But gonna play it slow again and just pass the turn here.
And Azul draws an Ultra Ball. He can find Tapu Lele GX now that he has access to his abilities. But it looks like discarding an N, it looks like he already has a supporter. Gonna find another Golisopod GX. And Man, even Premwat's drawn like 12 cards off of trade and just has not attacked.
Yeah, this isn't the Primwat that we're used to.
But still, Azul only up 1 prize card here. So this game is far from over. Kyle, what do you think is going to be the key as we move forward in this game?
Well, if Michael was able to get some aggression going on, that'd be good for him. He really just needs to find double colorless, and I feel like he's got all the other pieces ready to go. If he can just start to put in some work, he's got answers to tools coming down, and he's going to be able to pick up his own Zoroarks. So really just got to start attacking, honestly.
It's good advice. Doing damage is a good way to win.
Hit your opponent.
Yeah.
Also, he has that Rockruff with an energy, so you could see Dangerous Rogue sneak in now that we see Azul with 4 Pokemon on his bench.
Yeah, the interaction between Lycanroc and Golisopod is pretty interesting. You look at it at first, you're like, oh, Lycanroc's terrible against that. It's weak to grass, but usually it ends up just trading.
Yeah, if you can go 1 for 1, that's fine.
You do the Dangerous Rogue GX attack at the knockout, and then they respond with the first impression. It's like, well, all right, I'm just not going to use any more Lycanroc. Guzma is going to be the play for Premawat, going after that Garbodor, which does have Choice Band on it, not a Float Stone. So it's going to be trapped in the active position. And that's really all Premawat can do. He has nothing.
He's just going to make Azul use some resources to get out of the active spot here. That Choice Band is keeping Garbodor nice and slow, but is Azul really going to start to attach and retreat, perhaps? We'll see.
Looks like he's going to play Heavy Ball for another Golisopod. GX, find out his second Garbodor is in his prize cards. May have been what he was looking for there. Decides he doesn't want to get another Wimpod. So he attaches for the turn, and it probably just pass. This is taking a weird turn.
I think both players are going to be in that awkward spot now, and Michael still doesn't have double colorless available to him, so he might be stuck passing after this even.
What is happening here in the finals of this regional championships? Energy onto the Garbodor and a Float Stone onto Golisopod.
I'm sure he wants to switch those around.
And Professor Sycamore is the supporter for Azul, getting a fresh hand of 7 cards. And it looks like he's just going to pass the turn.
Yep, Wisely doesn't want to play down that 5th Pokemon. Really just opens up Dangerous Rogue to do so much damage to your Golisopods, even if you have an armor press down.
So Premawat drew Field Blower for the turn.
Awkward.
Do you even want to play it?
Right?
Looks like he is saying yes.
Yeah. I think he's saying there's no way that I possibly missed double colorless this turn.
Yeah, of course not. Well, except not those 2 cards.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Well, maybe if I surely draw 2 more cards, that will be the double colorless.
It's got to be there.
Yeah.
Well, sees 1 in his discard pile, has 1 puzzle at a time, so second puzzle would be able to get him that. And look at that.
All right, so finally finds a way to get a double colorless energy. And I have to wonder, will he simply go after the Garbodor? No, he's going to go after the Golisopod GX.
Yeah,
I was wondering if he would just get rid of Garbotoxin altogether, but Float Stone and perhaps a Choice Band or a Strong Energy on the Lycanroc GX on the bench, and we could see that Dangerous Rogue GX.
Yeah, he's got 240 damage available to him, and he could even hold on to these puzzles if he wants to, just to have answers to future Garbotoxin.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you could play them now just because if your opponent plays at N and has Garbotoxin up, it's going to be tougher to find both pieces at once.
Right.
So maybe getting 2 individual cards back into your hand is the way to go. It's honestly a close call.
Yeah, he's going to pick the Field Blower here, and he might even pick a second just so that if he does get End, he can just find both of them. But he knows how hard it's been to find a double colorless. Maybe that's what he goes with here.
Well, looks like he's going for a Puzzle of Time and a Field Blower so that he can get maximum usage out of his remaining Puzzle of Time.
Yeah. Strong play.
And here is an Ultra Ball. Gonna discard 2 cards he doesn't think he needs anymore. Looks like Guzma and another card there. Might just find another basic Pokemon, maybe another Zorua to get down on the bench. But just doing whatever he can at this point. Looks like a Wonder Tag for N. That's gonna be the play here. And he will force Azul to shuffle in and draw 5.
Yeah, after all that, he still hadn't played his supporter for the turn.
Almost forgot, yeah.
That's such a big turn here. You think with Bloodthirsty Eyes that might have been a goose, but nope. He gets to get 6 cards here now, bring Azul down to 5, and take the biggest threat off the board all in one giant swing.
This is still anyone's game, and I would not expect any less from these 2 titans of the Pokemon TCG, Azul and Michael. I think we are going to see a knockout on this turn, but there's still so many prizes to go and so many twists and turns we have left. And of course, probably several N to be played.
That's right.
So here comes Dangerous Rogue GX. Might be the most used GX attack of this tournament. You can see just why. Pretty much every time it's used, it gets a big knockout.
Absolutely.
And now it's on Azul to respond. All he'll need is a Grass Energy to use First Impression for a knockout with the Golisopod GX. We'll see if he can pull it off, though.
Yeah, he's going to have to find a way to get out of the active spot here as well. Has an Ultra Ball, and looks like he's eyeing up Tapu Lele for that Sycamore now.
Sure seems like it. There we see Wonder Tag for Professor Sycamore. Interestingly, it looked like he discarded an Enhanced Hammer with his Ultra Ball. Not sure what his other cards are, but maybe he was just thinking, I'm going to knock that thing out anyway. I don't need to Enhanced Hammer.
If he doesn't knock this out, he's in trouble anyways.
Absolutely. So going to be a big 7 cards from Azul. Can he find a Float Stone to get this Tapu Lele GX out of his active spot? We do see a second Enhanced Hammer. And actually, he's just going to go for the Energy Drive this turn, it looks like. Or he could just draw another Enhanced Hammer.
Yeah, that's one way to go about it. You can just remove all the energies.
Heavy ball.
See a Heavy Ball searching out a Wimpod. Getting that onto the bench. Nope, just putting it into his hand. Maybe keeping the bench spot open in case he wants to use a Wonder Tag in the future. But does he have a tool for that Garbotoxin?
Yeah, he might have been thinking about that when he used this Sycamore, knowing that the Float Stone might just have to go onto Garbodor if he does find it, and he won't have time to play it onto the Tapu Lele. He needs to lock out these abilities from Michael.
And there is the Float Stone going onto that Garbodor. Garbotoxin back in effect. No more abilities, no more trading for his opponent. We see the Energy Drive for 60 damage.
Well, all of that would be true if Michael didn't have a Field Blower waiting in his hand.
Oh boy.
he always seems to find it. Even has an Acerola in his hand as well. If he wants to pick up this Lycanroc, he can do that here now. Has double colorless energy in his hand too, so has an attacker ready to go. Everything seems to be going Michael's way with this big hand he's been holding on to.
Sure seems like it. Puts down a Zorua in its place. Saying, all I need is one more potential Lycanroc GX. Maybe for a game-winning Bloodthirsty Eyes at the end of the game. But for now, it's all about Zoroark GX. This is going to be the Pokemon he's rumbling with.
Right. Going to be able to put down a pretty good amount of damage and potentially set up a 2-hit knockout in the future. Has access with the Bloodthirsty Eyes and Guzma to always bring up this Tapu Lele again if it were to go to the bench.
So it seems like the momentum has swung into Promwat's favor at this point. He should have an energy to attack this turn, and he does. It looks like he's got Puzzle of Time in hand as well. His hand is just full of resources. It feels like Azul has to play an N at some point just to shuffle all those cards back in.
Yeah, I mean, Michael has so many riches, he can just hold on to a lot of these great cards. If Azul doesn't have an N, what's stopping him?
There's the Enhanced Hammer. And the first impression, Azul actually has an N in his hand, and he decided not to play it.
Field blower.
Oh, field blower coming in. That is another float stone down. I'm curious how many are actually in the discard pile.
Yeah, so many of these tools have hit the discard already. Michael does want that Tapu Lele, wants to get it out as fast as it came in. And he's got the double colorless energy in his hand. Would love to find another Zoroark. There it is. So now he has one that doesn't have any damage counters on it available to attack.
Right on cue. He needs it. Oh, he drew it.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'll take that.
Trade.
And can continue these trades. Just get rid of these cards that he doesn't want to see later. Ultra Ball and Sycamore are going to be the choices.
The triple trade, discarding 3 to draw 6. Not a bad deal. And another double colorless energy going onto that Zoroark GX on the bench. Pramawat can get the knockout here and put himself 2 prizes away from his 7th regional championship victory.
3.
Now, this is an easy knockout, but you got to wonder, where does the next one come from?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to eye up here, and it seems very difficult when you don't have Lycanroc's GX attack available for you. A lot of this is going to be just setup damage, and Azul's ready for that. His deck plays Acerola, and he's ready to just pick up any damage that comes into play and hit you for 120. So if Azul has the cards available, he might just be able to pick up every attack you do for the rest of the game.
So we see the grass energy going on to Tapu Lele GX, and Azul playing that N he was holding on to. This is the moment where if he can find a Pokemon tool and put it onto Garbodor, that Garbotoxin can lock Pramawat out of his abilities. No more trading, and this is where things can get messy. Once that Garbotoxin lock is in place, N is devastating.
Yeah, Pramawat would have to hope that his trading just did enough, discarding cards he doesn't want to see, and maybe he left himself with a small enough deck of just good cards, but with only 2, it's going to be very difficult. And wow.
He does find the choice band, Garbotoxin back in effect, and a first impression for 120 damage.
Kukui.
How does Pramawat respond? Professor Kukui for 2 cards.
Yeah, and those cards weren't too great. He found himself a Zorua he can't play and a Fighting Energy. Can play that onto Lycanroc if he wants to, or maybe he's going to find a different attacker to go with, being that it has that grass weakness.
Yeah, maybe just energy onto Tapu Lele GX to pump up an energy drive.
Yep, he sees the lines, and he's going to start working on that Tapu Lele.
Looks like he did draw an N. Can't play it this turn because he played Professor Kukui. He's going to take a look. How many cards you got left there?
Can I deck you out? he's kind of close. I believe I saw 5 there, and Azul doesn't have too many cards in his hand right now.
Yeah, I think the question is, can he actually win before he draws all of his cards? I mean, can he actually output enough damage to win the game before he runs out of them?
Right.
So many questions, but so little time left in the round here for the finals. And 5 prizes to 2. Michael Pramawat currently leading, but it is anybody's game. Azul plays another N, and he needs to draw something here. If he does not find a double colorless energy or some way to move his Golisopod GX out of the active spot, he actually just loses, and Michael Pramawat will become our regional champion. 5 cards here. Can Azul find a way to get out of here? What did he find?
He's going to check the discard pile, but I believe I saw a double colorless. He does have his GX attack available to him, so if he wanted to, he could take the knockout here and go to the bench. Also could retreat, but why?
Puts it down, takes it back. It is intimidating. And what will he decide to do? Looks like the double colorless energy is going to go on the Golisopod GX. And I think he's probably going to go for the crossing cut. I don't think I could take that risk going for the armor press.
Yeah, it's way too scary here. You'd have to hope that Michael just really hit nothing, and it would have been pretty punishing. He has a double colorless energy in his hand.
And Azul making the conservative play here. Crossing cut GX for the knockout. Oh, the Acerola and the Guzma in his prizes. Both of those would have been very helpful here.
All those cards are pretty good for him now. Unfortunate that he's not going to have access to them just yet.
Pramawat checking both discard piles. What an incredible final game here we have at the Memphis Regional Championships. Still anyone's game. So many resources gone. So many small decisions deciding the outcome. Who will come out on top?
Yeah, you can see the wheels turning here for Michael. He's trying to figure out how to do this. It becomes so much easier if he has Field Blower, but...
Professor Sycamore draws 7 cards.
Does he have 7? Both players getting very low. Able to find a puzzle of time. Not much else.
So he has Ultra Ball, certainly going to play that just to get rid of cards from his deck. Discard the Zorua, and it looks like an N. Maybe he can grab another Pokemon out of his deck. There's a Rockruff in there. It's pretty simple for Pramawat at this point. If he finds Guzma, he wins.
Yep.
If he doesn't, Azul will have an opportunity to win this game.
He's got the puzzle piece in there to help him get that. So would love to see that out of the 4 remaining cards in his deck now.
See a Rockruff go onto the bench. And his Zoroark GX is stuck up there. Has a choice band and a bunch of damage. He will have to pass the turn, it looks like. Or is that a float stone?
He's got the float stone on the active there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a choice band. All right.
But who do you promote? It's kind of, I mean, you can bring up your Lele and hit for 60, but it's not doing too much. At least you don't have to worry about a return knockout, as Zul already used his GX attack for the game.
Yeah, that's a smart play here. And it looks like he actually just passed. And oh my goodness, the Acerola from Azul picking up that damaged Golisopod GX and the float stone on the Trubbish. He's going to go ahead and retreat into Golisopod and first impression for 120 damage. But Pramawat draws the puzzle of time. It's a turn too late.
He found the way to take the knockout, but the knockout's not there anymore. Let's see if he's able to find a different line now with the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, if he had, he needs too many cards, I think, depending on what's left in his deck. If he could go Field Blower and then Bloodthirsty Eyes onto Tapu Lele, Choice Band, Kukui, double colorless, he could ride his beating for 170 damage. But I think that's just too much to ask for at this point in the game.
Yeah.
So 2 more Puzzle of Time, getting back any 2 cards from his discard pile. Looks like he's eyeing up that Guzma and 2 Guzma. He's saying, you know what? This is how this is going to end. Going after the Garbodor.
Yeah, he's going to try to deck him out here, it looks like.
And it might work. Now, Azul does have double colorless energy in hand. He can retreat once. But we know he has a Guzma in his prize cards.
Yeah.
If he had access to that, he might win this. But he just concedes. Michael Pramawat finds another way to win against all odds. Strands that Garbodor in the active spot and wins his 7th regional championships. What a victory. He is now the winner of the largest regional championship in the history of the Pokemon TCG. Congratulations, and wow, what a finals.